Hey everybody, Nate from Project Nerd here, with I believe we're calling this a nerd pick for my top 5 favorite Marvel and DC superheroes. So at number 5, I have Vision. I think Vision's a very interesting character. I like his chemistry with Scarlet Witch. I think it's interesting. I think his powers are really cool. I'm really sad that we haven't seen him use the phasing very much. Um, because we do see in Age of Ultron him like put both his hands through an Ultron bot and just rip it in half. I thought that was cool. I really hope he comes back after having the Infinity Stone removed, from his face. That's a pretty grievous injury. Uh, but I hope we see him come back. I think Paul Bettany does a wonderful job. And obviously, we're going to see him come back in WandaVision at least, but it's up for discussion whether he's going to be, real or just like some kind of figment of Wanda's imagination. But I am nonetheless interested in seeing what will happen with Vision in the future. And I just think he's a cool character. His powers are cool. He's got a cape, you know, he's purple. That's a little strange, but it's fine. Number 4, I have Nova the Human Rocket. And Nova is a character we haven't really gotten yet in the MCU, but I think he's an extremely interesting character because of all the times we haven't seen him. For instance, I'm a big fan of the Sam Alexander Nova, at least some of his older comics since he was introduced. I really like his story about how his dad was a defunct, well, not defunct, but he was a Nova Corps member with a special helmet, so he's not linked to the Nova Force. And he's just kind of a drunk, and nobody believes him until he disappears one day, and boom, Sam has to become Nova. And I think it's kind of a neat, it's kind of like the Spider-Man story about him assuming responsibility and dealing with the sins of his father. I think that's really cool. And then, the Nova Corps is obviously a big part of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And then I think I heard that they were going to use Nova instead of the Hulk in Infinity War to show up to the Sanctum Sanctorum and be like, Thanos is coming. And I think that would have been really neat. And I'm really sad that they didn't throw him in there, and have been dying to see him in the MCU ever since. But I think he would be a really cool character, especially with someone like StarLord who has similar parental issues. I think he would be a really neat character, and he's one of my personal favorites. Number 3, AntMan. Now, AntMan is not a character I liked before I saw Paul Rudd play Ant-Man. After that, I love Ant-Man. I love his whole relationship with his daughter. I think it's so great. I love how he's so funny. Um, his powers are so interesting. Um, I really enjoy the shrinking and the growing, and I think that's a neat like gimmick that they can play with in the movies. Um, I really like how deep his character can be, especially when talking about like his daughter or trying to get back to her, in the first one or in the second one, just trying to do what's right for his family. Like that's really what he's trying to do, even if he is, goofy on the outside. He's really, he's got that moral center like Captain America, and he's just trying to do the right thing. Number 2, we have a character I kind of already mentioned, StarLord. StarLord is a truly wonderful character. I love StarLord. StarLord has such a depth of character for someone so goofy. Like, StarLord is an inherently goofy character. StarLord is a really wonderful character. He's funny, but he can also have these extremely emotional moments, like with Yondu or with Gamora, or with Rocket. That I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and I enjoy his character a lot. Also, Chris Pratt is a wonderful human being. He was the best actor you could have picked to play Peter Quill. And I also think Peter Quill in the comics is really great too, because he has not the same issues. There are obviously some continuity differences, but he still has, these problems with his parents, and I like that a lot. I can, I kind of relate to it and I enjoy it. So that's why StarLord was my number two. My number one is gonna be Superman. It's Superman. He's the Boy Scout. He's this infallible, at least in some versions, this infallible symbol of hope, this good person who all he wants to do is help as many people as possible. And after I say that, it probably won't surprise a lot of people that my favorite Superman comic is All-Star Superman, because that's all he does, is try to help people, and it's great. I love seeing it. Um, it's so nice, especially after, you know, living in a post Watchmen age where everyone wants their superheroes to be like dark and gritty and grounded in realism. It's really nice to see a superhero or to read a comic where it's not like Silver Age goofy, but it's just like help people, do good, be the best person you can be, and try and help as many people as possible. And I really enjoy that. And that's why he's my number one character. I love Star-Lord, and he does kind of do the same thing, but Superman is just forever the best. He's what man aspires to be. He is the Superman. So that's why he's my number one pick. Well, that's going to conclude my top 5 list. I guess let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.